Swimming results on the weekend. The Sox and our Main Streeters competed at the state swimming and diving meet this weekend. Had a very good weekend and was able to have all three swims move on to the final second day. Top 16 qualify, and we were seated outside of the top 16 for two of the events, so able to get those in for second day swims, and overall just really, really happy with the effort that we got. And just really happy for the girls. They did an outstanding job. Started off with the medley relay. Medley relay ends up 16th. We went into the meet seated 18th, so to come out and make that top 16 was huge for us, and to swim back second day was great. We had just some outstanding swims there. I can't say enough about the leadership of our two seniors on there, but overall, just outstanding all the way around, and I know I use that word a lot, but I don't know what else to say. There's just... got to expand my vocabulary a little bit, I guess, but they just did a great job. McKenna Bartle led us off in the backstroke. McKenna on first day had her first split under 30, went a 29. That was just incredible. So happy for her. And the effort and the growth that she's had this year, can't say enough about that. And, handled the pressure well. She talked about how nervous she was before that race and got out and put her best split of her life out there. So, can't say enough about McKenna and what she did and the growth that she had and really came up big for us. Second swimmer, Liv Jennison. This is her first trip down to the state meet. Swam as our breaststroker. Liv got some very valuable experience and made some, I think, great changes from little stroke adjustments that she made from the section meet to the state swim meet, and went even faster down at the state swim meet for us. So, Liv got some valuable experience, but also just really came up big. There's a lot of pressure coming down for the first time, and swimming against the best athletes in the state, and that's what she was able to do as a new swimmer down there was huge. So very happy with Liv and her effort and what she was able to do. Brooke Broman-Schenkel on the butterfly relay, butterfly leg of the relay. Brooke comes out and puts up her best time of the season as well. Just a great swim. She's going to have an outstanding swim a little bit later in the 100 butterfly, which she qualified for state in. But that was awesome. And, I got to speak up and talk a little bit about Brooke's kind of leadership on the team and, our two seniors, and we'll talk about Maisie in a little bit here too. But Brooke early on, recognized, I think even as the season ended last year, hey, it would be okay if she went from the breaststroke leg to the butterfly leg on this relay. She recognized that, that transition could be good. That to me, sends a great message to the rest of the team that, she's willing to make changes and sacrifices and do things differently if it's for the good of the team. And it has been for the good of the team in terms of what she was able to do for that relay and how she swam that. So a lot of great things there. And then Maisie, another one who, we made changes with her as well. Maisie swam distance for us in years past. Last year, she went to the 200 free and the 100 free, and this year she moves to the 50 free. So she went from the longest distance event in the 500 free a couple of years ago to now sprinting for us. A great transition and a great change for her. And again, great swims for her, consistently splitting 24 on that relay in the 24s. That's pretty awesome. We just don't have a lot of girls who have ever been able to do that in the history of the program, maybe a handful. And Maisie's in that group as well. So, just can't say enough about this group and what they were able to do and what they were able to accomplish, led by those seniors, but the contributions by all four of them were just outstanding, and really happy that they were able to make it back second day and earned that swim. I'm really, think that was not a gift. They earned it, and happy for them and just the end result that they had. In 15th place in the 50-yard freestyle was Maisie Jennison. I talked a little bit about it before. A great transition from her. She moved into those sprint events. She embraced it. She was able to use her start. Maisie has just an excellent start and great explosiveness off that start, and found that spot for her breakout. The 50 has basically zero margin for error, especially when you get down to the state swim meet and you're swimming against the best swimmers in the state. You can't be off. You can't be off a little bit here or a little bit there. Maisie was not, and had great swims there. And again, I think just a sheer will swim in both days, to get back to second day and then to, finish 15th in that swim as well. Just outstanding. Can't say enough about, watching her hard work, her leadership and practice, we're blessed with great leaders this year, and Maisie's a huge part of that, and the attitude she brings into practice and the attitude she brings into meets. You just can't say enough about what Maisie was able to do in that 50 and what she's done all year as a leader on this team. And then Brooke Bromenchenko, and again, I know this is a common theme with these two, the changes and the willingness to do things different. Brooke swam IM most of the year, the individual medley, and wasn't until really kind of the last couple of weeks of the season where we started looking at it and saying, hey, that 100 fly might be a great fit. She was really willing to do that and was aware that this was a great possibility, and kind of saw it maybe, before I did in many ways, right? She was willing to do that and jump in there. That's high swim IQ. We call that, just a great swim IQ, and that was awesome. She comes out and swims very well, 15th place there. She missed the state meet as an individual last year, came down on the medley relay last year, but made it back this year. And I don't know, it seemed to me that maybe it was a little sweeter. You work hard towards that goal. It would have been easy for her to just kind of pack it in and maybe just say, well, I didn't make it last year. I don't know if I'm going to make it this year. Maybe feel sorry for yourself, that kind of thing. And man, she did not. She came out and worked incredibly hard. Brooke has a knack on her start, especially in that butterfly, to have great underwaters. Probably, some of the best, I would say, in the state. Like they're just outstanding what she does underwater. In swimming, we call that the fifth stroke, right? We've got freestyle, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly. But what you do underwater and the kicks that you can do and the streamlines that you have, Brooke was able to master that. And I think that was a huge part of why her butterfly was so successful and just outstanding. So just an overall great weekend for the girls. So happy about the group that we have. We brought along two alternates in Sylvie Shermers and Katie Gregory. And, they were great cheerleaders for their teammates, great supporters of their teammates, and couldn't have been happier and prouder of how they carried themselves and what they did. And again, just a final shout out again to my seniors, who were at this meet with with Maisie Jennison and Brooke Bromenchenko, and just what they were able to do and what they were able to accomplish. And again, high swim IQ on both those girls, and just, so proud that they were able to make it down in their individual events as well as a relay, and just overall very, very happy. So wrapping up an excellent season for these girls. There was a lot. We came a long way from the beginning in their chance to get down there. They didn't miss that opportunity. They enjoyed it with their teammates. They did so many good things, and it goes beyond swimming. It goes, to leadership qualities. It goes to being great people and great individuals. And we saw that from these girls, not just these state girls, but this whole team this year. It's a long season, but I tell you what, sad to see it go, because these guys did some pretty amazing things this year, and couldn't be prouder of them and the way they carried themselves and the way they swam this year.